So, John, if you could turn into any supernatural creature, first of all, what would it be? And second of all, what would you enjoy doing the most?
Okay. I think I would quite like to be a unicorn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, oh, sure, that's an interesting choice.
Mm-hmm.
A bit out there.
Yeah.
Why? Well, what would you enjoy doing as a unicorn?
I feel like just being a unicorn would be pretty funny. What does a unicorn do?
Run around and poke people in the back.
Yeah, I'd have a lot of fun poking people. I'd just a bit of light cantering and just look really pretty. I think that's quite a nice life.
You could do jousting, but you wouldn't even need someone on your back.
I mean, the opportunities are endless, essentially.
People could play hula on you.
I'm not really into that.
Why, have you done it before? Or?
Just doesn't appeal, sorry.
So no one's played hula on you? You've not lived, John.
Has anyone, who's played hula on you? What were they throwing it at?
I'm not going to say.
Some films are fine just the way they are. Other films sometimes take it way too far. But really, how bad could it get? Let's go beyond the box set.
Welcome back, everybody, to Beyond the Box Set, the podcast where today, for the start of our Halloween vampire season, I should say, we are pitching prequels, sequels, and spin-off ideas to What We Do in the Shadows. We'll also be pitching some drinking games and hear from our listeners with the ideas they have posted on our Facebook and Twitter pages. But first, we're going to talk about some of our favourite moments from the original movie and catch up with its plot summary. I am Harry, the host with the most competitive nature.
I think I preferred last week's.
Sure. And joining me as always is the host who, bless him, tries his best. It's John Lucas.
Ah, hello. Why am I the only one who gets a surname?
Because...
I don't want to be the one who gets stalked by the internet.
Well, sorry,
my identity stolen or something. I like to retain an air of mystery.
Okay.
You know, I'm like Madonna. You don't need a second... Or Cher. You don't need a surname. It's just
You're
John.
like Madonna and Cher.
Yeah.
John, it's the most common name in the world. You can't just claim it as yours.
Well, I can think of no more famous John than myself, so...
McLean. There's one.
It's not even a real person, is it?
Oh, damn it. Saint John.
Saint John, yes. Okay.
He got there first.
Okay. I mean, there is John Lennon.
There's one.
And John Legend.
That's John Legend. That's a pretty good name.
Yeah, that is a good name. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty sad that's taken, really.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there were people who thought that all this time you've been doing this podcast with John Legend. I mean, that counts for our popularity.
So now they don't think I'm doing a podcast with John Legend,
No.
John Lennon, or Saint John.
No, and nobody thinks I'm doing a podcast with Harry Styles anymore, so, yeah. Oh, no, they could, because you've not said your surname.
Yeah. I'm all Harry Styles, Harry Potter, and Prince Harry, all in one.
You're all of them put together.
Yeah, I could be, unless you prove me wrong, which you can't, because you don't know my surname. Right, so what we do in the shadows?
Okay, yes, this film. That was quite a tangent. So this was your choice.
Mm-hmm.
This is a film that you know I've seen before because you actually introduced me to it. We watched it together about a year ago. 2 years ago. Must have been 2 years ago.
A year and a half ago, wasn't it?
I broke my shoulder in 2017, so yes.
Was it? Oh, I guess it was last year.
Nope. Yeah, so basically we watched this together when I broke my shoulder and you came round to keep me company. And
I thought you have an incident every Eurovision. So what was last year's? Was that when the fish died?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, but anyway, so listeners, John does get injured every...
something bad tends to happen to
every
me.
Eurovision.
Well, at least once a year,
if it looks like nothing's going to be happening, then, I'll let you all know and you can sort something out.
Yeah, great. Thank you. So first you give away my identity, and then now you're actively encouraging people to injure me.
Yes, but I'll let you know when.
Okay, great. Oh, so I can prepare.
Yeah.
Make sure my will's up to date.
Yeah.
Okay. So this film, yes, we watched this together. It is a comedy. When did you first see it?
Same time as you, I think. I was introduced to it from my girlfriend, Louise, who decided to make us both watch it. I really enjoyed it at the time. You hated everything at the time.
I didn't hate it. I don't have...
I'm sure it wasn't you hated this specifically, but you just hated everything.
I was in a bit of a bad mood, yeah, because I'd just broken my shoulder.
Yeah.
I wasn't in the best place. But I don't remember disliking this movie. I remember finding it quite funny. But I definitely maybe found it funny this time.
Yeah.
I thought this movie was great.
Yeah, it's really good.
This was a lot of fun. Yeah, I have no issues with this movie. This is not another Napoleon Dynamite. I really enjoyed this one.
Don't get your issues with Napoleon Dynamite, but the opportunity to get into that has passed.
Yes.
So this is great. Shall I try and do a plot summary?
Yeah, give it a go.
It's such a vague and rambling film.
It is. Well, you chose it. You made this rod figure back. Yeah.
I'm glad I chose it. But...
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so it's a mockumentary starring and directed by Taika Waititi.
Indeed.
Jermaine Clement and a couple others.
It's just a shame nothing ever became of those guys. Didn't do anything else of note after this.
No.
Just one-hit wonders.
No. I mean, to be fair, what Jermaine Clement actually got up to? He did Legion, but...
He's in Legion, yeah. Don't know, he changed his name to Matt Berry and did a few... did Toast to London. They are the same person, and I refuse to believe otherwise.
They really are,
It's ridiculous.
Isn't Matt Berry in the TV show for...
He is, yeah. I found that quite interesting.
Yeah. It definitely works.
Yeah.
Even though Jermaine Clement is still, like, directing.
Yeah. Maybe nobody realised they're two different people. Maybe Matt Berry just turned up on set one day and they're like, oh, great, get into costume.
Yeah.
You are the lead.
And so there's a documentary crew following these...
Who we never see.
We never see. Yeah, they're following around these 3 vampires. They've been invited into their home, and the vampires have sworn an oath not to kill any of the documentary team. Yes, and there's just little bit after little bit, joke after joke. Like, it starts off, Taika Waititi's waking up. He sleeps in a coffin, and he rises out of it. In a very hilarious way. Yes. I love how it's just slow and quiet. There's no music or anything. Yeah. It's just his stupid face.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he's sharing a house with 3 other vampires. I forget all their names.
So there is Vlad, played by Jermaine Clement.
Yeah. Who's
kind of a 800-year-old warlord who's best known as Vlad the Poker.
Yeah.
So that was a joke on Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah.
Then there is...
So Taika Waititi plays a character called Viago.
Yes, Viago, I think it is, isn't it? Yeah.
There's Deacon, I think.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's the best character of the 4 is Peter.
Peter, yes.
Who is something like 6,000 years old or something like
8,000 years old.
8,000 years old. Yeah, so Taika Waititi, he's trying to organise a meeting, a household meeting, just to discuss like the washing up and stuff.
Yeah. This is one of my favourite things about this film, is that it's a really funny vampire movie, like a vampire spoof, but it's also just a really funny, well-observed movie about like flat sharing.
Yeah.
There's loads of such relatable stuff about what it's like. This really took me back to my flat sharing days, my house sharing days.
Yeah.
Like, there was every flat that had one of each of these characters. So there's the the uptight one who's all about keeping things clean and neat and tries to be all passive aggressive about it. There's the one who's always having sex. There's the one
because it really is that, isn't it? Like, we go on and we get introduced to all 4 of them, really.
Yeah.
We see the other 3. He goes into Deacon's room, and Deacon's just sleeping in a very uncomfortable way. It's uncomfortable to look at, and Taika Waititi says like, "Oh, I'll wake you up in a bit." Like,
he's just hanging upside down.
Yeah. He goes into the other person's room. He's just full on orgy at that point.
Yeah. I love the way it's shot. Like the room is some kind of weird sex vortex.
Yeah.
And then it just opens the door and it's just normal. It's like,
Awaken! Wakey! I just really like having a good time with my friends. Weekend. Hi. Hey, Weekend. How was your night last night?
I transformed into a dog and had sex.
Cool. We're gonna have a little flat meeting in the kitchen in about 15 minutes, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Should I close this?
Yes.
Ladislav! Oh. Sorry.
What?
Hey,
What time is it?
we're going to have a flat meeting in about 10 minutes.
20.
Okay, is it...
Then he goes down to the basement, and there's Peter just living in a tomb.
yeah.
And he's like, here's a chicken. We're having a meeting in the kitchen. And okay, well, you don't need to come.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
But I thought I'd invite you just in case you wanted to.
Again, there's one in every flat. The weirdo who lived in the basement and nobody ever speaks to. Like, for a time, I was that flatmate.
Of course, yeah.
Which would you be? Or which were you in your house when you lived with multiple people?
Probably the Deacon character.
You were I can imagine you being Deacon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I mean, now I'm definitely the Taika Waititi character. Definitely.
Okay. What, neat freak? Or...
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, and so they have the meeting, and it's just about, well, I'm not going to point any fingers, but Deacon, we don't feel like you've been doing your fair share of the washing up. You haven't done it in 8 years.
Yeah, that's great.
And they cut to the sink, and it's just full of... It's not just normal dishes.
No, it's blood-stained dishes.
Yeah, it's blood-stained. Like, also super old, like, vintage cups and stuff.
Well, the set design in this whole film was just brilliant. I just loved looking at the house and there were so many good details and like the way it was the way it was designed. Like, there was so much thought when every little thing that was hanging up, every portrait, every poster, all the taxidermied animals. It was just great.
Yeah. Yeah, I like how they all had, like, classical portraits of themselves done.
Yeah.
It was very good. So I don't really know where to go from there. So it's just different bits about being a vampire. But I don't remember what happens next at any one point. Like, at one point, there's the point where they all get ready to go out into town.
Yes.
And
you should say it's set in New Zealand, in Wellington.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And I love it because they've got that joke, well, we can't see ourselves in a mirror, look. And they're like, oh, a floating cup, and stuff like that.
Like, they're all really, like, nerdy about being vampires, even after, like, how many hundreds of years.
Yeah. We can't see ourselves in a mirror, so we just draw each other.
Just draw these awful portraits.
Just to see how we look wearing these clothes, to see if we look all right.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, so then they all go out, apart from Peter, of course, who I guess just stays in his tomb.
Yeah, that guy never actually goes out. Yeah.
No. Yeah, and they're just walking out in town, just like, well, we need to be invited in somewhere for us to actually get in, so, it's not actually that great being a vampire. Which I love, because Taika Waititi is clearly very unhappy, but is also very positive all the time.
Yeah.
Sort of like fake positive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sort of thing.
Just overcompensating.
Yeah. And then we get introduced to, what's her name? Jackie.
Yes.
Who I loved because also looking up the actor, like, she's just called Jackie.
Yeah.
As well.
Aren't a lot of the characters, the actors,
they are.
Like, yeah. I know Stu's just a guy called Stu.
Yeah. And like, Stu doesn't have a picture on IMDb, so I guess he's not in a lot of things. He's just a random guy.
Oh no, he's not an actor. That's the funniest thing about it. I was going to wait till you introduce Stu as a character, but yeah, basically the actor who played Stu, also called Stu, is just an old school friend of Taika Waititi's who was asked to kind of come and just be like an extra in the film. And he thought, you just don't have a really small part. And they shot over 100 hours of footage for this film, and then they had to edit it down to and they basically found him so funny that they made him basically the star of the film. I don't think he ever did anything else again.
Well, it's great because like he doesn't really have any lines.
No, he's
like he just sort of like quietly mumble like no,
yeah,
that sort of thing, which is great. It really works.
Yeah,
but yeah. So first we get introduced to Jackie, and Jackie is Deacon's familiar. That's it.
/ servant.
Yeah.
She says familiar. He says servant. Yeah.
Yeah. So they've got a deal that she does basically everything for him. Yeah. Apparently, apart from washing up.
Well, yes.
Bit of an odd one, but whatever.
Yeah, they could have done that. They could have made her do his washing up for her.
Yeah, but I guess that takes out that whole intro.
It's too much logic. Yeah.
So like she'll mow the lawn, blow the leaves, and
just clean up all the blood in the bathroom.
Yeah, clean up all the blood all the time. Yeah. And the deal is that he'll turn her into a vampire.
Yeah.
It's great because
he's just stringing her along. He has no intention.
Completely. And so then she brings this up. I'm just like, so I want to talk about the deal.
Yeah.
But she's doing it in the most careful way.
Yeah.
It's all just so realistic. It's great.
It's like, I feel like I'm my best self right now. I don't want to get any older.
Yeah.
I think she's really thought it through. And I just love the detail that she's like married with kids. It just made it extra dark.
Yeah.
And funny.
Yeah, and there's bits where like you see her getting interviewed in her house and stuff, and she's like, I don't fucking care.
If I had a cock, I'd have been a vampire 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Just a boys' club.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted more from her. I had a lot of...
that's it, because that's after they've made Nick, sorry.
Nick, yes.
That's after they've made Nick a vampire.
Yeah.
Who is, Nick and somebody else just get invited into their home by Jackie, get brought in, because they're virgins.
Well, so she thinks.
So she thinks, but then...
She was a virgin when we were 12.
And yeah, it's great, yeah. It's like, I totally had her pegged as a virgin. You're not a virgin, are you sure?
Yeah.
Like, I had her pegged as a virgin. I really thought she was. I'm sorry, guys. It's a mistake on my part.
I think my biggest laugh in the film, actually, this time watching it, might have been when Vlad explains why they like to drink virgin blood. He's like, well, I like to think of it this way. If you eat a sandwich... You'd prefer that nobody had fucked that sandwich before. It's just, the logic is irrefutable. It's great.
Nick, are you a virgin at all?
What?
Doesn't seem like... Are you a virgin?
Oh, yes.
No.
You were a virgin when we were seeing each other?
Yeah, I was 12.
You said he was a virgin.
I think we drink virgin blood because it sounds cool.
I think of it like this. If you were going to eat a sandwich, you would just enjoy it more if you knew no one had fucked it.
Yeah, and so they kill the girl, I think.
Yes. She dies off, in the background, yeah.
And Peter gets Nick,
Yes.
and turns him into a vampire.
Yeah, I guess the plot of the film then is like mostly Nick trying to like come to terms with being a vampire and not really handling it particularly well.
No, like he hates it.
Yeah.
Like, he can't eat anymore.
Well, he likes it at first. So the thing is, they're all like hundreds of years old, and so they're very
Well,
much
no, at
used to it.
first he's pretty much going through. He's going cold turkey, basically.
Oh yeah, with his bleeding eyes.
He's like, I'm hot and cold, and my eyes are bleeding, and I'm on the ceiling.
Yeah.
Like, you can see into my neck.
Yeah. Yeah, but he finds like the whole flying thing really cool. He does like it at first, but then it's when he finds out he can't eat chips, and then he gets really annoyed.
Yeah, yeah.
Which fair.
Yeah, and so then also there's this subplot with Taika Waititi, who 80 years ago or something shipped himself to New Zealand because that's where the love of his life was going.
Yes.
And so his familiar did that for like put him in a coffin and got him sent over to New Zealand.
Yes.
Unfortunately, the familiar put the wrong postage on there or something, and so he was late to New Zealand by how long?
Years, maybe months. Years. He was floating around the ocean for a long time, apparently.
Yeah, something like that. By which point, the love of his life had got married to somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so now it's now like 80 years later. She's a 96-year-old woman, but he still loves her.
Yeah.
Which I guess is kind of cute. And there's this brilliant moment where he Skypes his old familiar. I love the scene when they've got Stu to introduce them to computers, which is great. It's like introducing old people to computers, but it's done really well. Yeah, and so he has a video chat with his familiar, who's like this 80 or 90-year-old man.
Like German guy,
yeah. He's really happy to see him. He's like, Piago, great. Nice
Master.
Yeah. And then he finishes by saying, like, you were supposed to make me a vampire. And look at me now, I'm old and decrepit.
And he just kind of puts the lid of the Mac down, like, oh, sorry, I'm cutting out by. Yeah, that's really, it's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, we didn't talk about Stu then, particularly.
No.
So yes, Stu is Nick's best mate, basically, who's a human.
Yeah.
And it's just this running joke that like he doesn't really say or do anything, but everyone just loves him. He's just like the coolest guy. To these vampires, he's like the nicest, coolest guy, and they're all just like, "Oh, we love Stu. Stu's great."
Yeah.
No one's going to eat Stu.
Yeah. And then the other side plot that's going on, which is definitely my favourite, is just everything with the werewolves that they keep bumping into.
Yeah.
Because they are hilarious.
They seem so like mild-mannered. It's great.
Yeah. Like, normally, both times that you bump into them, like, they're just doing their own thing.
Yeah.
They're just being fine, but the vampires hate them for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, they've got this big rivalry that the werewolves don't really seem to have.
No.
I mean, they get justifiably annoyed, but they're not really starting fights.
No.
Yeah, it's like the vampires are provoking them and, like, wearing fur around them. Which I love when they just call that, like, oh, that's a bit offensive, don't you think?
Yeah. He's wearing fur. Calm down, he's not worth it.
Yeah. I love it when somebody calls one of the vampires like a bastard or something. He's like, no, we're werewolves, not swearwolves. Yeah. What are we?
That's the line of the film. Werewolves, not swearwolves. That is, whoever thought of that line, you know, they were just like, nailed it. Man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because a lot of this film is improv. That's why they shot so much footage. Like, so a lot of it, I don't know whether that was a scripted line or, but I imagine coming out with that was what a victory.
Yeah. Yeah. Werewolves, not swearwolves.
It seems like the werewolves aren't up for being murderers. Like
no,
because they're not at the party at the end. You know, with all the other monsters, the zombies and the witches and everything.
Yeah,
and they every time you see them, they're like getting ready for the full moon and chaining themselves up so they don't kill people. So I guess they're nicer. So, yeah, but I just loved how they've gotten really. I just love how like efficient they are. Just like, well, the main guy, the main one's just so funny when he's just like, I told you no jeans, that the legs are going to go right through those. Yeah. You're a waste of money.
Yeah.
Told you baggy clothes. You've lost those now, Bill.
Yeah. I like the bit when they realise they can't chain themselves up anymore because the full moon's coming out. He's like, quick, get your shirt off. Terry, you just bought that one. Get it, you like it. Get it off. Get it off.
It's great.
It's a nice shirt.
Yeah.
Werewolves.
Oh no.
Look what the cat dragged in, huh? Piss off.
Keep walking. Don't hassle us tonight.
There has been no hassle here.
Well, let it stay that way. Keep chaining yourselves up. Guys, where's your tracksuit pants?
It was washing night. My missus couldn't wash them because there was too much blood in them, so...
When your legs expand, they grow into the tracksuit.
Oh.
Those jeans are going to rip completely. You've lost all those trousers, guys. Declan, that tree's far too thin. Look at it, it's like a branch. You know how big you get when you transform? That's the wrong tree for you.
Anton,
Oh no, you've forgotten the combination. Why did you get a combination lock?
I lost my key last time.
Okay, well, it's probably 4 zeros. That's the factory setting, is it? Fuck off to a tree.
Hey, werewolves, not swearwolves.
Yeah, I know.
Werewolves,
Well,
not
on
swearwolves.
transformation
Yeah.
nights, it's all right? I'm getting stressed out.
I was just reminding you.
Stop talking and chain yourself up, you dickhead.
What else is in this movie? It really is just a collection of scenes.
It's just a collection of funny moments. But I guess the plot is that Nick really struggles to adapt to being a vampire. He decides he doesn't like it very much, and he pisses off all of the other ones, particularly Deacon. Deacon seems to really take a dislike to him. Because Nick keeps telling people he's a vampire. He doesn't hide it. Mm-hmm. He keeps going to bars and pretending to be Robert Pattinson, which I thought was really funny. The film creates this kind of world where there's a whole vampire community in Wellington, which I thought was really funny. Mm-hmm. And he's in some bar and he's talking about being a vampire. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm a vampire, mate." And then this other drunk guy goes, "Oh yeah, well I'm a vampire hunter." And you think he's joking, but then it pays off that he is a vampire hunter. And then he finds out where he lives, and then he breaks into the house and kills Peter. Mm-hmm. And then Peter gets set on fire. And then they're really mad at the rest of them are really mad at Nick, and he gets kind of banished from. He has to do the procession of shame.
The procession of shame was brilliant.
It was basically the Lena Headey scene from Game of Thrones, but just nowhere near as impressive. No nakedness, just shame.
Well, the build-up of it was great. It's no, we can't do it.
The procession of shame.
No, I told them that it was too much, that we weren't going to do it. And I'm like, no, you were the one who wanted to. No, I told them.
Yeah.
I love his reaction to it as well, because he's just like, "What is this?"
He's so deadpan.
He's like, I don't care.
Yeah. Well, they get into a bat fight as well, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
Bat fight!
Yeah.
But basically Nick gets kind of banished from the group because he got Peter killed and because he's just not keeping to the code. Although I did think it was somewhat hypocritical that they got really mad at him for kind of telling people all the time that he was a vampire when they're filming a documentary about being vampires. When is this supposed to come out?
Don't know.
Is it just for vampire audiences?
Don't know.
Yeah. So then he gets cast out, and then the rest of them go to the annual vampire community.
It's not vampires.
Party. Oh, annual monster. I can't remember what it was called now.
Something, yeah, but it's not exclusive to vampires.
No, it's exclusive to monsters.
Yeah.
So there's
and this is where Jermaine Clement's storyline really kicks in.
Yes,
because he's got this ex who's called the Beast.
Yeah.
Well, she's another vampire, isn't she?
She's a vampire, yes, I think.
Yeah. What's the story there?
Well, the entire film, Jermaine Clement's character is just constantly referring to his great nemesis, the Beast. It's like, I hope you never set eyes upon the horror of the Beast.
Oh, that's it, because they get the invitation to this ball, I think it is, and there's an honoured guest.
Yeah, and he thinks he's going to be the guest.
He's always wanted it.
Yeah.
And we see an interview with him, and he's like, I think this is the year. This is definitely the year. Mm-hmm. And then they get the invitation, the other two read it, and they stop when they come to that sentence, and he's like, well, who is it? And he just storms out when he reads it.
And it's the Beast, yes. Yeah. And then at that point, then the other two, Viago and Deacon, are like, oh yeah, he keeps talking about the Beast, it's his ex. It's really funny. Yeah, so she's just a female vampire, and then so they all go. He decides not to go to.
Also, she's not beastly at all. She's stunning.
Yeah, exactly. That's the joke. She's just a regular. Yeah,
she's not like the female version of Peter or something.
No, not at all.
It's clearly just him who calls her the Beast.
Yeah, exactly, because she's just his bitch ex. Yeah. But he doesn't take this well at all, and then he seems to have a rather alarming aging situation. When his entire face goes grey and crumbly.
Yeah.
Great. Another stupid joke that made me laugh is he decides not to go to the party and they're trying to talk him into going. And he's like, leave me to my dark bidding. What are you bidding on? A table. He's on eBay.
Yeah, that was good.
So yeah, the other two go to the party where they run into Nick and Stu. And Nick's brought Stu along as a human at his kind of +1, which is a huge mistake because humans aren't supposed to be at the only reason humans would ever be at this party would be for them to be food. So then all the vampires and the zombies and the witches, whatever they might be, all immediately, when they figure out Stu's a human, immediately want to eat it.
Yeah.
And so that turns into a whole situation.
Yeah, another zombie talking to him. So, are you pre-deceased?
Yeah. Which is a great way of putting it. I like how just Stu is completely nonchalant. It's like he doesn't seem to know what's going on at any moment. He's just I guess. He shows no fear.
He just seems to be the sort of person who would just go with the flow.
He just totally goes along with anything. Yeah, it's great. I can see why people like him. That's a very easy person to be friends with.
Yeah. And so then they get called out on bringing Stu in, which is against the rules, and then they also get pointed out they've taken an entire documentary crew in.
Yeah,
I guess no one's had a problem with so far.
No, yeah. Again, I wondered.
Yeah, so then they all leave, basically just in the nick of time, because there's people sort of following them around, getting a little aggressive.
No, it's that's when Vlad shows up at the last minute, because they are going to meet Stu.
Oh, that's it, yeah. Sorry.
And then Vlad comes in a fabulous fur coat.
Yeah.
It's amazing. and him and the Beast get into a whole fit. He kind of throws down against the Beast, and the Beast's got a new boyfriend who's like an ancient vampire, and him and Vlad get into a whole fight, and then Stu comes to the rescue at the last minute and like impales the other guy in the back with a giant stake, and then they all do a runner.
That's it.
Yeah, it's great.
And that's when they bump into the vampires who are just training them. We've covered this.
The werewolves, sorry.
The werewolves, yeah, who are training themselves up against the trees.
Yes.
The joke about the fur. The werewolves change into werewolves, and one of them kills one of the camera crew, and also Stu gets killed.
Yes.
Which is a bit sad for a moment, and then it's like cut to black and a couple of interviews or something, and then it's like a few weeks later, Nick comes to the door. And he's like, I've got a surprise for you. Is everybody here? Gather around. It's Stu! Stu's here! And then we cut to Stu, like, previously, and he's doing an interview like, oh, yeah, so yeah, like, I got by a werewolf, and now I'm a werewolf.
Yeah.
And, like, he's got permanent scars on his face and everything. Then the film kind of finishes with all the werewolves coming into the vampire's house and, sort of being friends and having a look around and stuff.
Yeah, they form an alliance,
and the very last scene is Taika Waititi sitting there next to the woman he's in love with.
Oh, yes.
And he's like, well, yeah, I know some people say it's a bit of an age gap. What's this 96-year-old woman doing with a man 4 times her age? But we don't see a problem with it. No, it's fine. Like, it doesn't matter to us.
Yeah, so he's basically turned the 96-year-old love of his life into a vampire. It's really...
Yeah. I wouldn't say I'm a cradle snatcher.
It's great.
So, Catherine's a vampire now?
Yes.
Yeah, we decided to get together. We just thought, to hell with it, what have we got to lose?
I was just sitting, doing nothing, and he came floating in and over to me, and I recognised him. It was wonderful.
That's right, I bit you on the neck.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I don't mind being a vampire. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, so that's that, really. That's the film.
Good pick. Very good pick.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah. That was a very rambling plot summary, but
I
I did my best with a rambling film.
Yeah, sure.
Brilliant. All right, well, if that's that, shall we do drinking games?
Let's move on to some drinking games, yeah. I had a lot for this film. This is a good fertile film for drinking games.
All right, you go first then.
Okay, so the first one I've got is drink for musical sequences or montages.
Okay, yeah.
So the erotic dance is one, but there's loads of little musical montages, therefore really good.
Yeah. Drink for blood splatter.
Ooh, yes. I like how Taika Waititi's character is really crap at killing people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, he's been doing it for like 300 years or however long it might be, but he always seems to he makes the joke when he kills that one woman, he hits the artery and it just like splashes all over his face, and then you see the same thing happens again later on as well. He clearly just isn't very good at biting people.
No, not at all. Yeah, I've also got drink for recurring jokes, because this film does it very well.
Yeah, this film does lots of really good callbacks.
But like, I love his reaction as well. Like, it's just like he's burst a water main or something. He's like, shit!
I love the scene before that as well, because he's supposed to be like a bit of a neat. He's like the neat freak in the house, obviously. When he brings the woman home to murder, and he's like talking to her, and while he's talking to her before he bites her neck, he's just like casually putting down towels. And she just doesn't clock at all what's going on. It's great.
He has no idea, but hasn't quite got to that stage where she wants to call out what's going on.
Yeah.
And like, he pulls her hair back from her neck and leans over, and she's like, "What's about to happen?"
Yeah. And then she's dead.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a good one. Drink for special effects.
I was thinking about doing that one, yeah.
Because this film, like, it looks pretty, on the whole, it's pretty low budget, but it does employ a surprising amount of special effects, like, in a really good way. My favourite one, by far...
The cat?
Yes.
Yeah.
By a mile.
It's so funny.
Because
also it's a callback.
It's a perfect callback joke.
Yeah.
So at some point in the film, they say about how Jermaine Clement's character Vlad used to be like the most fearsome vampire in the world, but he's getting on a bit now. And like, well, he used to be really good at transforming into any animal in the world, but now he can't get the faces right anymore.
Yeah.
And then like an hour later, there's a scene where he loses his temper and just turns into a cat. And it's just a cat with like Jermaine Clement's face really badly CGI'd, and it looks so
weird. And yowling as well. Yeah, like it's because that's the point when they're chasing Nick.
Yes.
When he's not yet been bitten.
Oh yeah.
And it's a great sequence.
Yeah.
Like, it really is. Like, say
it's an actual like good horror movie sequence in a way. Yeah.
It's amazing. Like, there's a bit where somebody climbs out of a backpack.
Yeah.
And that's done really well. You see that he's wearing the backpack, and then
it's edited seamlessly.
They actually managed to do it. That is somebody climbing out of a backpack. I don't know how on earth they did it.
This is why Taika Waititi went on to direct the things he's directed, I'm sure.
Yeah. It was outstanding.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like he's doing all this and he just opens a door, sees that cat, and he's like, nope, and just closes the door and carries on. I love it.
So
just like, yeah, I'm not going in there.
No, wouldn't you? Yeah. I also really liked, it was quite a subtle one, but when again, Jermaine Clement, when he finds out that the Beast is the guest of honor, like there's this one vein on his forehead like goes up, and it's just indescribably brilliant.
Yeah, such a subtle joke.
Yeah, and there's lots of good eye work as well. Or when Nick is in the pharmacy and he's talking to the guy, he's like, I'm a vampire. And he's like, sure, mate, pull the other one. He's like, no, really, I'm a vampire. And then his face just goes like demon face for a second. And they do like they fully CGI it. Like it looks good. Like it's really
a little bit of like say the werewolves, like ever so slightly partially transforming.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
like you see some of their faces slightly change, or like an eye turn yellow or something like that.
Yeah, it was good. Although the actual full werewolves definitely looked a bit ropey, but I was fine with that.
Yeah, I was perfectly fine with that. Yeah. The vampires, everybody's just wearing fake teeth.
Yeah, well, exactly. The main costumes are just stupid. Like it's like they've raided a Halloween costume store. Yeah. But every so often, that's what made the moments when they used actual special effects really stand out to me, because it wasn't in that kind of movie. It really, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Great.
Vladislav used to be extremely powerful. He could hypnotize crowds of people.
Great orgies, 20, 30 women.
He could turn into all sorts of animals, but now he never gets the faces right.
He would kill anybody, man, woman, children, burning everything. It's totally great.
But he suffered a humiliating defeat at the hands of his arch nemesis, the Beast. And he's never been the same.
Do you reckon that during this season of vampire movies, we will be able to legitimately say what's the best vampire movie of all time?
I mean, there's a lot to pick from.
Because do you think? Because obviously there's a lot that are not eligible because of
sequels.
We don't do sequels. But do you think that a film without sequels will happen to be better than a film with sequels? Than any film with sequels?
Well, I'm trying to what vampire films that we can't do. Like what really notable ones are there? Like
From Dusk Until Dawn.
Does that have a sequel?
I think so.
Oh crap!
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, and I guess I don't think anyone's arguing that Twilight is the greatest vampire movie ever made. But obviously we can't touch that franchise. I don't know. But we'll see. We shall see. We can't do interview with the vampire because we've already done it, and it actually did. We cheated a bit then because that does have a sequel, but it didn't have any of the original cast, so who cares?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably one of the most well-known ones. I don't know if people would say it was the best. We'll just have to see what we choose, won't we?
Yeah, we will.
See what this season throws up for us. I feel like hopefully we'll have a little bit more variety than. I feel like when we did
Werewolves,
it got a little bit same.
Did it?
Oh no, maybe it didn't.
No, it really didn't.
No, actually, it surprisingly didn't, did it?
Because we did Wolf of Jack Nicholson, which was mad. We did Dog Soldiers,
which was hilarious.
A fantastic werewolf movie.
Yeah.
Hilarious in a sort of B movie way.
Yeah. No, actually, you're right. We didn't, and we did Wolf Children, which was really like cute and different.
Very different to anything else we've ever done.
Yeah.
And the last one we did was Snow White.
Oh yeah,
was it Snow White?
Red Riding Hood.
Red Riding Hood.
Yes.
Sorry,
yeah. Which was just crap.
Yes. It was teen drama, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was like a teen. Okay, no, you're right. I must be thinking of some. We have done other seasons. Oh, it was disaster movie season that we did. That it got a bit samey.
But we knew it would.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think the vampire ones will be. Hopefully, there'll be a good variety of. Yeah. We'll see. I'm
Glenn Close one was a bit samey because they were all shit.
Oh, shut up! There's only one you really didn't like. Yeah, Mars Attacks and Dangerous Liaisons, famously identical films.
Yeah.
Any more drinking games?
Yeah, so I've got Drink Forward Transformations.
Oh, yes.
I guess we just kind of covered a little bit there.
Yeah. I mean, I did really love the bat fight.
Yeah, so good. I loved it when somebody just grabbed one of the bats out of the air and just threw him at a garage door.
Yeah, that's out of order. It's not fair.
Yeah.
What other transformations do we get?
Well, we get like some werewolves transforming.
Yeah, we do, yeah.
We get him transforming to a pharmacist or whatever.
Into a pharmacist?
No, like you just said.
Is Nick's face lighting up? Yes, yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that. There's definitely a few bits.
That's a good drinking game. Good transformation sequences. Okay, drink for dead animals.
Yeah.
Lots and lots. This is more like spotting them around the house because the house is full of taxidermy, which I always find funny.
Oh yeah, I loved it when right at the start when Taika Waititi goes down to Peter's basement and he's like, "So I've brought a brush down here. You don't have to use it, but you can." Oh, what's that? Oh, is that a spinal column?
Yeah.
I'm just going to move that to one side.
Yeah. Yeah, all of that. Like.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like anytime you spot a dead animal or a taxidermied animal or just the bats, you know, the cat, they're not dead, but they're undead, so you know.
Yeah.
That cat. I want it.
Yeah. Yours?
Oh, is that yours? Okay. Drink for knitwear.
Oh yeah.
That was another running joke, is that Deacon, who's like the coolest character.
Yeah.
Or so he says. He just loves to knit.
I want that jumper though. He's wearing
that full moon jumper was legitimately fabulous.
Yeah,
it was a really good jumper.
That'd be a fantastic one to have. It's just like a film reference piece of clothing.
I wonder if there's anyone that sells it. Like, yeah, they'd be
must do.
It'd be so much fun to have.
Yeah. I might speak to my mum actually.
Yeah. What, to knit it or to buy it?
To knit it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
She knits.
Sure, no, I can see that.
Yeah, that'd be quite good.
Yeah. Anytime you see him knitting, he'll just be like sat there doing his own thing, and he'll be. Did he knit his vest, do you think? When he's doing his erotic dance, he's wearing like those really tight leather trousers and also like a white piece of vest.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'd say anything that's knitted has probably been done. He's got time in his hands.
He does, yeah, that's all he seems to do. Yeah.
Okay, last one I've got is Drink for Time Jumps.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's good.
The way it's filmed as a documentary, there are a lot of, like 3 months later sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which it is done very well. Okay, so I had Drink for Vampire cliches.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it really has a lot of fun with all of incorporating all of them, like
like we can't see ourselves in a mirror.
Yeah,
not allowed in unless you're invited.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, and what was anything with the sun? Like, this is the scariest part of my morning.
Yeah, yeah. Like when they watch that sunset on YouTube.
Yeah.
Or sunrise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they'll just like So
I also had drink every time anyone talks about to or about stew.
Yes.
Yeah. Double drink when he talks about being a systems analyst, which he seems very. That's the most enthused he ever gets when he's talking about his job. It's a really boring sounding job, which is great. Right?
Yeah.
And drink for vampire community edition. So like they talk about how there's loads of different vampires in the area, like, and you meet every time you meet a new vampire. Drink every time you meet a new vampire. Mm-hmm. I love the very dark joke about the two vampire children when they say, "Oh, what are you girls up to tonight?" "Oh, we're gonna meet some paedophiles. It's gonna be great." So dark, so funny. I loved it.
Yeah.
There are between 60 and 70 vampires in the greater Wellington region.
Obvious vampire. Yoli.
Hello. I'm Dorothy. He's a guy I used to work with when I was human.
No, gone?
When I was human. Yeah, he's gone. I've been training him all night. But a very thirsty girl.
Hey guys.
Being bitten as a little boy or a little girl, you're always going to look the same age.
What are you doing tonight? You going to kill some perverts?
Yeah, we're meeting a pedophile.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, last thing before we get to sequels.
Okay, yes.
So we are available on Patreon, so anybody who has enjoyed this episode or any previous episode, please go to patreon.com/beyondtheboxset, where you can support us for as much or as little as you think we're worth.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few benefits if you become a Patreon. One of them is a bonus show called Beyond the Box Set, where every week we release a review of a film that's in a cinema right now.
Yeah.
What's the last one we've done recently?
So after this, we did it. I think we've got it coming out shortly, yes.
Yeah, chapter 1 and 2 is a joint episode, I think.
After this, we'll probably do Hustlers. And tonight we're going to go see Ad Astra, which I'm kind of excited about. So.
Yeah, got a bunch of stuff coming up. Once a month, we have a patron come on the show and do an episode with us.
Yes.
In fact, you don't need to come on the show. You can come in virtually over Skype or whatever, or you can just pick a film and we'll do it without you. Whatever you want us to do, we'll do it.
Yeah.
Well, not whatever you want us to do. Within reason.
Sure, yeah.
And then the final thing is once a month also, every Patreon gets a 30-second advert slot where they can talk about anything they want to. It can be your podcast, if you're on a business, it can be your own business, or it can just be whatever you want to talk about. You want to advertise somebody else's podcast, or just whatever you saw on telly that you enjoyed.
Yeah, whatever you want to talk about. You have that 30-second window, yeah.
Yeah. Or you could just talk about yourself, or you could just say your name again and again and again for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
We'll put it on the show.
Absolutely. If that's how you want to spend your money, go ahead.
Yeah. Great, so all that is available at patreon.com/beyondtheboxset.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now sequels.
Okay, shall I go first?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I've gone for kind of a direct sequel, and I think I want it to be in a similar style to the original. So I want to keep the kind of documentary format going. I think that worked really well in this film.
Yep.
So what I'm thinking is it's set a few years later and it's going to catch us up on what's happened to the cast. Probably let's say it's set in the present day. So this film came out in like 2012, I think, 2014.
Yeah, maybe.
A fair while ago away.
Yeah,
but not like 20 years ago. Yeah, so obviously people have done. Taika Waititi's career has gone a long way since then. Anyway, so this is going to like catch us up on what's happened to the characters in the intervening years. And so what did happen is, as this documentary will reveal in the opening scenes, is that the documentary actually did get filmed and completed. and was very successful. And in fact, it created a renewed interest in the vampire community.
Okay.
And I thought I'd close off a little plot hole here, which is that they're really protective about secrecy, but they're also filming a documentary. So I've decided that to make that make some kind of sense, what I'm saying is, in order to keep their secret and protect the community, they actually ate the original crew who filmed the documentary. And they released it and marketed it as not a documentary, but as a brilliant comedy spoof.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. See where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
So the success of the documentary opened up a lot of doors for them, obviously. It went all around the world. It was a big hit, like a cult classic. And Viago, the Taika Waititi character, he used the opportunity to pursue his passion for filmmaking. And he directed a successful indie drama about a boy who gets lost in the woods before going to Hollywood and directing several big budget Marvel movies.
Okay.
Yeah. The fact that he's only able to shoot at night obviously causes some problems, but he manages to pass it off by pretending he's permanently stuck on New Zealand time. So
yeah, okay.
That's his excuse, and they're like, well, he's quirky, we'll go with it.
Yeah, sure.
So he always shoots indoors at night. That's just his thing.
Yeah.
Meant those 4 movies took a very long time to make. So, so yeah, and I'm thinking, like I said, it's going to be a documentary style.
The indie one was exclusively shot in daylight in a forest outdoors.
Don't question me. We'll figure it out. Maybe film the whole thing from underneath a sack or something.
Okay.
We can make that part of the humour.
Okay, yeah.
All the ways he has to go to is not like... he can pretend he's got like a really severe allergy to mosquitoes or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want it all to be in the documentary style like the original. So it's going to be him talking to the camera about all of his successes and, how his career went and all the challenges that have come with being the first vampire to be working as a major Hollywood director in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
So after making a couple of very successful 4 movies, he finally has enough Hollywood clout to direct his true passion project, which is an origin story about himself and his vampire friends.
Okay.
So this is now going to turn into like a film within a film, where Taika Waititi...
Taika Waititi.
I'm so sorry. Taika Waititi. Yeah. Okay. Where he is making a film about the origins of the characters in What We Do in the Shadows, who are also him.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Because I thought like the film does a lot of like backs. You're not confused.
Yeah. So are there going to be people playing?
Yes, it's going to be very meta.
Okay, so it's going to be kind of recast.
Kind of, yes.
Like that season of Seinfeld where they did Jerry.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Although is he going to still be playing the same character? Is he going to be playing himself?
No, he's directing, so he's not acting as well.
People can do that, right?
Maybe.
You know that Taika Waititi does that all the time.
Okay, well maybe then. I've not thought of a cast, someone to play him. To be fair.
Great. Okay. Well, he's playing himself.
Okay, fine, sure.
Cut one of them out.
Fair enough. Fine.
Obviously, you get Matt Berry for what's his face.
Yes. Stop ruining my punchlines.
It's obvious.
It was very. That was very obvious. Yes. Yeah. So the idea is that in the actual original documentary, obviously, we get a lot of backstory on them about how they all kind of met. We don't get everything, but they kind of tell us who they used to be and like how Viago was like an 18th century dandy or whatever they said in Germany. Obviously, they've all got really silly accents in the original film, which they're all like associated from Romania or Germany or something. I don't think they're being very specific, and that makes it funnier. No. And how Vlad was like a bloodthirsty warlord 800 years ago, and obviously Peter's over 8,000 years old, and and Deacon was a Nazi vampire. Yeah. So I thought that like there's loads there for like a really good origin story about how the 4 of them kind of got together and became friends and ended up living together in New Zealand, basically. So that's what this film is essentially doing, but because he's a big Hollywood guy now, it's also a big Hollywood production, so it's kind of it has to be made a lot more Hollywood, so there's a lot of things being changed as well, which I think could be quite funny. So he's directing this film. He brings in the original Deacon and Vlad with him as consultants on the movie. So the real goal that they've got is to film this as like a tribute to their lost friend Peter, who obviously tragically got burnt to death in the original film. So the film's going to open in like 6,000 BC. Yeah, because I think the fact that he's 8,000 years old gives you a lot to work with. Like, where Peter was a fearsome warrior warlord known for devouring the blood of his enemies. Ooh. Yeah. After being cursed by the head of a rival clan, he becomes the first ever vampire. Ah, okay. So that's his origin story.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah.
So now, is this origin story, is it actually true? Or is it just made up by the characters?
I think it's like their best. I think it's funny if they don't really know where Peter really came from. And maybe they don't even know how old he really is. He said he was 8,000, but what do we know? So this is like their best approximation of who they think he might have been. Yeah. I feel like he was probably quite a secretive guy. Yeah. I don't think he ever really sat down and talked about his life, So So after being transformed into the first ever vampire, Peter then spends the next 8,000 years just roaming around Eastern Europe, massacring people. And along the way, he runs into, over a few centuries...
You said massacring people?
Massacring.
No, you didn't. You said masquering.
What's masquering?
I don't know, but it sounds like you're not aggressively applying makeup to people's eyelashes.
Mascaring people. Yes, okay, Peter is actually a makeup artist. Yes. Massacring.
Okay.
I'll massacre you if you don't stop being nitpicky. So, yeah. Along the way, he runs into Vlad, Viago, and Deacon, and obviously turns them all into vampires, and they kind of become his friends, and they all just become travelling companions who just kill a bunch of people.
Mhm.
The reason he turns these particular people into vampires, he turns Vlad into a vampire because Vlad is the only warlord that he meets who's even more bloodthirsty than he was, so he's impressed. He kills Viago for his riches and his fine-tasting clothes.
Mhm.
And he turns Deacon into a vampire just kind of for shits and giggles. I don't really see what Deacon was bringing to the table other than being
Sure.
a cool dude. So, you know,
Yeah.
I think we should definitely have like a montage of the four of them through history.
Mhm.
So with them all modelling loads of different styles of clothing from the different centuries that they're living
Mhm.
through. I think that'd be really fun. Like a good musical montage as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Picture it. It's great. So the idea is that back in Hollywood, obviously, gets the casting part now. I think that Vlad should be very miffed because he thinks he's going to be played by like Chris Hemsworth or maybe Henry Cavill.
Mhm.
And then he actually gets cast as Matt Berry.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, sorry. Because another one of my favourite jokes is, it's a very throwaway joke, but I thought it was really good, when Jermaine Clements says, I was 16 when I died. That's why I look 16 right now. Of course, life was hard back then. So yeah, I like that in his head. He's going to be cast by. Well, I'm sure you're going to cast some hot studly hunk, and then it's like,
yeah, very good.
Yeah. So Vlad is the real Vlad on the set of the film. He poses as a vampire expert who's helping the cast to get into character, basically.
Mm.
And he does this by using extreme measures, including but not limited to orgies, torture, and hypnosis.
Mhm.
He very quickly gets caught up in the Me Too movement and fired from the film. Deacon puts his knitting abilities to good use and joins the costume department. Yeah, where his outdated ideas of what looks cool and trendy come full circle and turn him into an ironic hipster icon.
Great.
Yeah. While they're in LA filming the film, they also reconnect with Nick and Stu, who moved to LA together shortly after the original documentary finished.
Mhm.
And they launched a tech startup.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a name for this tech startup?
No, have you got any suggestions?
Oh, no, I just wasn't sure if you had a pun prepared.
No, I should have thought of that, really. But the idea is that nobody knows exactly what it is that they do,
Mhm.
but Stu's such a charismatic, smooth talker that they've got heaps of investors anyway.
Great.
And nobody has a clue what Nick does. But Nick really wants to go into acting and producing, but he's not as talented as he thinks he is, so Viago gives him a very small cameo role as a medieval peasant.
Mhm.
Stu, on the other hand, gets cast as a fearsome vampire slayer who stalks the rest of the vampires through Germany in the 18th century. So
Okay, yeah.
Stu becomes like a movie star. I just think you just keep adding to this whole legend of Stu, even though he's like completely ordinary. It's like,
yeah.
Oh, and the werewolf crew, the rest of the werewolves, apart from Stu, they're also invited to sets to help out. They're brought in to help with set design because they're
Mhm.
very organised and, they can do all the manual labour, so that works well for them.
Sure, yeah.
Obviously, the movie's going to have a lot of problems while they're filming it because the producers want to make it less of like a vampire historical epic and more of like an erotic romance about Viago and his girlfriend Catherine's like love affair. They're trying to make it a lot more Twilighty, basically.
Yeah.
Which the vampires are not happy about at all. Particularly Vlad and Deacon, who get very annoyed that they're now being relegated to supporting characters in their own story.
Right.
So they get so mad that they actually eat the producers.
Yeah.
The werewolves also set up an on-set swear jar on the set, which doesn't go down very well with the human crew.
Mm.
And Nick accidentally bites Margot Robbie, who's playing the young Catherine. So it's just disaster after disaster, basically.
Mhm.
Despite all these mishaps, the film does eventually get made, and it becomes a smash hit. Mostly thanks to the mid-credit scene in which Deacon hypnotises the viewers into giving it rave reviews to all of their family and friends.
Brilliant.
And then, as a result, Viago becomes the first ever vampire to be nominated for the Oscar for Best Director.
Mm.
And Deacon is also nominated for Best Costume Design.
Great.
And I think this is going to come to the end of my documentary sequel thing now.
Mm.
So the film, I think, is going to end with like a photographic montage of all the vampires drunkenly accepting their awards on Oscar night,
Mhm.
partying with the stars at a glitzy Hollywood nightclub, and then eating the entire cast of Ocean's 8.
Great.
And that was the end of What We Did in Hollywood.
Nice.
What we do in the shadows of Hollywood or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll workshop it.
Yeah, what we did in Hollywood, that was.
What we did in Hollywood, yeah, sure.
Yeah, or what we do in Hollywood.
What we do in Hollywood, sorry. Yeah,
yeah, no, that's good. That's good.
Thank you.
Okay, so mine is, well, it's going to be another mockumentary.
Oh, okay.
Set ever so slightly afterwards. It's called What We Do in the Moonlight.
In the Moonlight. Is this an unlikely crossover between Twilight and that Moonlight movie that won Oscars?
No.
Okay.
No,
that would be quite something. Yeah.
It is none of those things.
Okay.
It is... Well, it's basically the same sort of thing, but with the werewolves.
Oh, okay.
Instead of the vampires.
You know, this is what they actually wanted to do.
The
proposed sequel. It was going to be called Werewolves.
Werewolves.
Yeah.
Okay.
As in we, RE, wolves.
Nice. Yeah. Way better title than mine.
Well, you can steal it if you want. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to open with an interview with the Alpha Wolf, who I looked up. He was called Anton.
Anton.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I like how everybody's just got normal names.
The most bland names in the world. Most of which... Was the actor also called Anton?
No. He's actually a recurring actor in Taika Waititi films. He was in Hunt for the Wilder People.
Okay. Is Deacon in other things?
I don't know. Let me just look it up. I've got his IMDb page here. I mean, he's been in other things, but I don't know if he's in any Taika Waititi things. He's in the TV show as Deacon. Yeah, he seems to be in things, but not things I've ever heard of.
Maybe he just stays in Australia or New Zealand.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, so that guy that I mentioned is called Rhys Darby. In Hunt for the Wilder People, he plays that crazy guy.
Oh, I do remember, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I know who you mean, yeah. Great. I knew I recognised him.
Yeah, because when I watched both films individually, I recognised that guy, and so I must have seen him in something else as well.
Yeah.
So I guess he gets around a little bit, but not much.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so we're going to start with an interview of him. He's in an office, just on a lunch break.
Sure.
He's explaining that unlike vampires, werewolves, they can live pretty much normal lives between the full moons.
Yeah, well, they can, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So, also due to his new friendship with Stu.
It's after the original, so Stu's already been werewolfed. Okay.
Yeah. I was thinking for a while that I could tell the same thing from a werewolf's point of view, but it's a bit limiting from what I wanted to write.
Sure.
So, due to his new friendship with Stu, after mauling him to death and converting him into a werewolf, he actually took an interest in Stu's work and now has a job in the same office as him.
Oh, great. So they're like werewolf systems analysts.
Yeah.
Great.
But Stu is actually his boss.
Oh, nice.
Which has caused a very weird dynamic because Anton is the alpha wolf.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. I like this.
And Stu is the workplace boss, so they've had to find a very delicate balance.
Okay.
Anton leans into the camera and whispers, "I've basically chosen my own wages, and I got all the easy assignments. Killing Stu was the best thing I've ever done."
So is Stu a good boss? He's not like a real dick.
Well, he's good to Anton.
Right, okay.
I'm sure he's probably a good... He doesn't seem like the sort of person who'd be a bad boss.
No, but that's what I mean. I think that'd be really funny because everyone finds Stu to be so nice. Maybe at work he's a real dick.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But to Anton, he has to be nice now.
Sure, yeah, because they're in the pack together, and it's the pack system.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So, cut to Stu, who actually works on the floor above. The interviewer asks him if he's enjoyed the transition into a werewolf and being murdered. And Stu quietly just goes, "Yep."
Sure.
And the interviewer just really annoyed. Says, "So, what have you got to say about it?" Stu quietly lifts his head and looks perplexed towards the interviewer. I just love the way that he never talked.
No.
So I just wanted to do a joke with him being interviewed.
Yeah.
So
apart from when he's talking about being a systems analyst, when he got very
pretty much, yeah. So what would you say is the best part about being a werewolf? Stu quietly murmurs, "Squirrels."
Squirrels. Chasing squirrels. Right.
And so then we cut to Stu chasing squirrels in the park, growling at other dogs, peeing on trees.
As a human or as a
human?
Okay, great.
Yeah. Probably bounding around on all fours.
Sure, yeah.
That's pretty much all we get with Stu, or interviewed wise.
Yeah.
Because
they give up on him.
He's not good at being interviewed.
No, sure.
So 1 week later, they're all having a meeting in the pub because there's a full moon coming up.
Okay.
Need to get a plan in place.
Yeah, I think they'd have a whole committee sequence.
Big time, yeah. So Anton's obviously leading the meeting, and he says, "So last cycle didn't go very well, did it? We didn't get locked up in time, and we went and killed a bunch of innocent idiots who were walking through the public park at the time. Sorry, Stu."
And they got a dog put down.
And then everybody in unison turns to Stu and says, "Sorry, Stu."
Yeah. He's like, "It's all right, it's fine."
Everybody's got to follow the leader.
Yeah.
So who has an idea of where we could go next time so that we don't kill anyone else? Dave, do you got an idea? And then just some other person called Dave says, well, we could all come round to my house. The missus would be happy to cook a large stew.
A large stew?
Yeah.
Is that deliberate?
I didn't mean to. I just meant a meal.
Oh, okay. Should Stu look very nervous for a second?
Sure, yeah, that works, yeah. Dave, that's stupid. Don't you remember last year when we all went to Terry's and his wife and kids got killed by us? Sorry, Terry. Okay. And the camera shows Terry and his wife and kids are there as well.
Oh, I see. Great. All with scars across the face.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Great.
The kids are currently tormenting a cat.
Great.
Maybe like playing tug of war with a cat or something like that.
Sure, great.
Something a bit alarming. Anyone else? Bob, what idea have you got? Oh, well, there's this old abandoned house next to mine which is barricaded up. We could always try there. No, Bob, we all know that's the house for the possessed clown. We don't trespass on his territory and he won't trespass on ours.
Is that it?
Of course it is.
Okay.
Right, Jerry, what's your idea? I like the idea that Jerry is played by Parks and Rec Jerry.
Oh, nice. He'd fit right in. Yeah, he'd really fit in,
Yeah. And he's like, well, my boy's school might be okay. It's not used at night times, and this full moon's also going to be in a weekend, so, it should be really good. Okay, Jerry, that's a really good idea. And then cut to 3 days later.
Okay.
So Anton is outside the school. It's nighttime, and you see in the background all the others are peeing against school walls, moving around, claiming as much territory as possible to try to set up a guard, really. Anton says to the cameras, okay, so we've not got long till the full moon. You guys probably better stay back and just give us some space. If you come in, we're not going to be able to leave you alone. You'll all die.
Are we explaining why there's a documentary crew following the werewolves around? Like,
no. Was there much explanation to the vampire one?
No, sure. But I'm like, I'm just trying to think of like, I guess the werewolves don't intentionally kill people anyway, so but they don't need any kind of protection. So fine. Yeah.
Like maybe it's one of the surviving documentary crew from the.
Maybe it's the one that got eaten.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe it's his hobby is documentary making. So they're like, well, you might as well just keep doing it for us. Now we've turned you into a werewolf.
Yeah, sure. Well, the way I've written it for the next couple of paragraphs, it's from the outside of the school because they don't want to go in.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah.
Anyway, so all the werewolves go into the school and set up. They lock themselves in one of the science labs, and then cut back to outside. And in the distance, the other end of whatever field they're standing on, the film crew spotted some people walking towards the school. So they run over and ask, "Oh, what are you doing?" And it's 4 teenagers who are all just smoking, drinking, just being rebellious. And they go, "Are you cops?" I go, No, we're just doing a documentary about werewolves." And the kids just all pull a weird face and just like, ugh, and just walk off. So the cameraman turns to the director, who just sort of shrugs and motions to keep on rolling.
Yeah, sure.
And so they just film these kids just walk into the school, like break in.
Oh no.
Yeah. And then a bit later, from outside, we see as there is some howling from the science labs when the full moon comes out. And then a bit more later, there's some screams, followed by crashes and bangs. And then we see a fire get lit from within the science lab. And something bursts out of the glass, out the window. And it's a werewolf that's on fire.
Oh, wow, okay.
And it falls to the ground and dies.
Oh, gosh.
Then another one jumps out the window, howls at the moon, and then sprints towards the camera. The cameraman turns and runs until he falls down, and we cut to black.
Okay.
We pick up a short while later at a funeral.
Okay.
It's Dave's funeral.
Oh no, not Dave.
Yeah, sorry. He was the wolf who died. Okay. Anton says a few words and then motions for everyone to sit down. Being Elf Wolf has to tell everybody.
Sure.
Dave's wife, Janet, she looks at Anton and then looks at Jerry. "This is your fault, Jerry. You suggested the school. It's your fault he's dead, and that those 4 teenagers are also dead." Anton says, "Sorry, teenagers." Everybody else follows.
Sure, yeah. Are they also at the funeral?
They're also at the funeral, just still smoking and drinking and looking like they're done with the world.
Great.
And they're all covered in scratches.
Are, yes.
Yeah. Curse you, Jerry, curse you.
Is this just the on Parks and Rec thing where everything's Jerry's fault?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, great.
1 month later, I didn't actually think of that until I'd written all this and realised I used the name Jerry. It's like, did I just do that naturally?
Yeah.
1 month later, Janet is in her house cooking for her sons, interviewing with the documentary. "Oh yeah, life's much harder without Dave around. I've got to hunt for myself now, look after the boys. I've actually left Anton's group now, and I've taken in the 4 teenagers I murdered last month. I am now my own alpha female."
Oh, great.
It's 2019 after all. It's about time we saw some representation, I think.
Very good.
That's it. That's all I've got.
Okay. Oh, so then it sets up a rival werewolf crew with a female.
So see, like this could very easily.
It could easily lead on to something else.
This could be halfway through a film, or it could be a whole film by itself. I thought I'd leave it there.
Yeah. No, I think that's really good. I like it. Yeah.
I wanted to delve more deeply into the bits about being a female werewolf.
I
wanted to throw a joke in there about like, well, I got my period at one point, and I got this at another point. Like, there's always something going on.
Yeah. You could have like, when a male tells you what to do, he's the alpha dog. When a female does it, she's a bitch.
Yeah. Stuff like that.
Yeah,
there's definitely a lot of jokes that you could have from a female werewolf film.
I think that I'd like to see that. I would like to see that sequel to your sequel, where it's a female werewolf trying to make it in a male-dominated werewolf society.
Yeah.
Definitely. You could do loads of jokes about like pack culture and bitches on heat and
Mm-hmm.
that'd be really good.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that
lots
was
of bum sniffing,
what we do in Moonlight.
Great. Yeah, I like it.
All right, so should we get on to listener submissions?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so the first one I've got is from Adam Thomas. He says, where they have at those shades.
What they, sorry?
Where they have at those shades.
Where they have at those, that sounds very medieval. Have at ye shades.
Yeah. I guess it works as a sequel title, yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure.
I've got a few here about the spin-off series, Vampires in the USA, is that right?
Yeah, it's an American remake, isn't it? Which
Yeah.
the original cast appear in. I've never seen it, so...
And Matt Berry is in it. That's not perfect casting.
Well, of course,
they're the same person.
Indeed, yes, as discussed.
Joe Ryle says, yep, what this other person said. I do sort of wish they'd kept the original title idea, though, What We Do in the Moonlight, which is weirdly what I came up with. I did not read this.
I thought that was the one for the werewolves thing. Oh, no? Would that not make more sense for a werewolf?
I guess, yeah. That's what I did, though, wasn't it?
Oh, sure, yeah, I get it. Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, Anthony Van Damme McGlynn.
Good name.
Wow.
He sounds like an action star.
Taika's idea was the best. Go through all the monsters, werewolves, zombies, witches, whatever else. Comedy sequels with the same actors and setting are notoriously hard. But switching things up always keeps everything fresh.
You know what? I think that would be that could be a really cool franchise. It'll never happen now, he's too expensive.
Yeah.
But yeah, just go through them all. That'd be great.
Yeah, similar lines to that. Keith Northover, I think, it says, I needed What We Do in the Shadows style show about mummies.
I think did someone else say that, or did you say that? Yeah, that sounds... Yeah,
that mummies would be really
Mummies
good.
would be really funny. It wasn't one I thought of, but yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine the accents.
Michael Tanner says, sounds like a job for the Sequel Quest podcast.
Excuse me, who the hell are they?
Yeah.
Back off our turf, man. We hear it from our lawyers.
Okay, another similar idea from Debashish Mahapatra. Gonna stick with that.
Beautiful as ever. Yeah.
Maybe a Cornetto series type trilogy, same actors and different stories.
Yeah.
It's a common idea, and it's a good idea.
I think it's a common idea because it's a good idea, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Sam Borden says, a true crime, What We Do in the Shadows sequel, called Who Did What in the Shadows.
Ah, that sounds more dirty to me, I don't know why.
Yeah. I know, maybe it's just
it's
my
like after
delivery.
an orgy, everyone's like, so who stuck their dick in my arse? Oh. Sorry, too graphic?
Maybe, yeah. Cool, yeah, that's all I've got.
Okay, very good. I have some as well. So Ryan Klemer just said, what we do in the sequels.
Nice.
Very good, yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin Hendricks said, I still know what you did in those shadows.
Ooh,
That's
okay.
good. Joe Herman said, they hang out with a bunch of mummies in That's a Wrap.
Good.
Mike Carey said, what we do in the shadows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very standard.
Yeah. Ryan Klemer also said, that thing you do in the shadows. Remember that thing you do?
Yeah.
So maybe they form a band.
Yeah.
We know that Taika Waititi.
Yes.
Why can I not make that?
You got it that time.
I just need to make it stick. We know that Taika Waititi is musical because Flight of the Conchords. So
Yeah.
Over on Twitter, Blokebusters @Blokebusters said, obviously we need to do a parallel film following the not Swearwolves.
Yeah.
So there you go. The fun twist is that they are all, without exception, fairies and spend every second when not in public in their fursona.
Nice.
Very good, yeah. At One Star Bazaar said...
Yeah, one idea that I did have was that I was going to do it where the werewolves go to a Halloween party.
Okay, yeah.
And that was going to be my tie-in, and this could definitely fit into mine. That was going to be my tie-in to catching up with the vampires as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's the Halloween party. Everybody comes along, and kind of coincidentally, the vampires are dressed as the werewolves, and the werewolves are dressed as the vampires.
Oh, yeah.
And they both find it really offensive.
Yes, I like that. That's good. Yeah, you should definitely have the original cast like cameo in this werewolf sequel. I think just as for like a one scene appearance, that'd be really good.
Yeah.
Great. At One Star Bazaar said, loved the movie. I'd happily just watch a sequel about nothing, a la Seinfeld. So
great.
Yeah. You mentioned Seinfeld as well, weirdly. So yeah. And at Creative Faye said the sequel could be that they find other supernaturals, maybe fairies. I think she means fairies as in FAI fairies, not fairies as in the kinky fairies.
Are they not furries?
Is this my pronunciation making it hard?
Maybe yes. Yeah.
So Blokebusters want a film where the werewolves are furries, as in
Yeah.
people who have a fetish for dressing up like animals.
Yeah, and the other ones want fairies.
Creative Faye just
as
wants
in Tinkerbell.
Tinkerbelly fairies.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Sorry.
No, I got that the first time round. I was just clarifying.
Okay, good. Sure. Okay.
Your accent does.
Yeah, I can't really pronounce the difference between those two words. Sorry. So thank you everybody for those sequel ideas. We ask for your listener submissions every week, a few days before we record, by putting posts out on Facebook and Twitter, where you can post your ideas. So make sure you like and follow our pages if you don't want to miss out. To listen to more episodes of Beyond the Box Set, you can subscribe and browse on our back catalogue on any podcasting platform, including iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and many others, all of which you can also leave a 5-star review, which we both read to lighten our moods on our post-episode hangovers. As mentioned before, we're also available on Patreon, which is exclusively for the people who would rate us even more than 5 stars, if they could, and you can find all those links in the description below or at beyondtheboxset.com. And next week, it's my first choice for this season, and I thought we should, if we're going to do a vampire season, we have to do the classic, some version of the classic.
Okay.
So, with that in mind, I think we should do the mid-90s Bram Stoker's Dracula, starring an amazing cast, including Gary Oldman as Dracula.
Great.
It's got Keanu Reeves.
Yes.
Doing very questionable accent work.
Okay, you've mentioned this before.
It is.
You've bigged it up. I'm intrigued.
Yeah. It's often voted as like the worst movie accent of all time. Like, Winona Ryder.
Is it worse than Dick Van Dyke?
Different. I would say the Dick Van Dyke Mary Poppins is bad, but in a way that is kind of charming. Yeah. Wait, I don't want to spoil it for you. You can watch it.
We'll get to it.
Winona Ryder's in it. What's his face? Hannibal Lecter's in it. Anthony Hopkins is in it. Okay. It's a great cast, and it's just it's a good old Dracula movie. So we're going to just watch Dracula.
Very good.
Bram Stoker's Dracula. Join us next week. Join us next week for that.
Yeah, okay. Great. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Indeed.
And see you next time.
See you next time for Dracula.
Bye.
Bye.
I became a vampire when I was 16. And that is why I always look 16. In those days, of course, life was tough for a 16-year-old.